Welcome back to Style Files, the part of the show where I talk to real listeners about their real style journeys, all about what worked for them, what doesn't, and the honest process of figuring it all out. Today I'm talking with Valerie. Her journey starts with a lot of discomfort around clothes and fit, years of trying to make things work, an access problem to new stores and new styles, and then a slow shift into seeing style as an identity and storytelling. And her new point of view involves an old manor house, a touch of mischief, and maybe even a stable boy. Let's get into it. Hi, Valerie. Thank you so much for coming on the Style Files. I'm so excited to talk all about your personal style today. Do you want to start with where your personal style journey started?
Yes, and thank you for having me. I'm so excited also because, I'm pretty much a regular gal here. So we'll start from the beginning in the sense that I'm French Canadian, so that's the accent. Coming from Northern Ontario in the 80s, so very remote area and everything. Coming from blue collar, middle class, four sibling, and we didn't have access in the sense that it was Sears catalog shopping. We didn't have a Walmart. So there was definitely like the hand-me-downs, it's too tight, because obviously my sister was 2 years older than me, but I soon catch up, right? And also during those times, I was watching fashion television with Jean Baker. I was watching like those Gone with the Wind, fantasy thing. And like my princesses wasn't like Disney princesses. It was like Sisi, Empress of Australia. So there was a lot of fantasy and a lot of those teenage crisis, what I'm going to wear today for school because nothing fit me. And my parents are pretty much like no nonsense people. Like, is it clean? Does it fit? No wear and tear? Like, you're good to go, but girl.
So there's these two things, like this fantasy element, this like Gone with the Wind, your own version of your Disney princess, and then the fashion is functional, you wear whatever's in your closet and you get to it. So that's two opposite ends, right?
Yes, that's it. And there's no reconciliation, right?
Yeah, especially at 14, you're like, how do I merge these?
Yeah, that's it. And then I moved to Sudbury, Ontario, still remote, still Northern Ontario, 150,000 population. I'm starting to have money. I study history. I have a master in history, like not in costume, but still prevalent, right? Because of all the movies that I was watching and everything.
Yeah.
But I have a little more access. So what I really realized looking back, and it's still today, it's all the fit, right? I was kind of traumatized just a little about clothing not fitting me till 15. And now I'm shopping and I have some disposable money. Even when I was a student at university, it was like, is it fitting me well? Like, am I comfortable? And fitting, it was also the silhouette, proportion. Like, for me, fit is that include all those notion. And also looking back, I was watching fashion television. I knew Alexander McQueen. I was purchasing those magazines, those Glamour, Vogue, and so on. But it was still a fantasy self. It was still like, this is so pretty. I wish. I don't even know where to start to look for those things.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like even though you had more money or slightly more access, you weren't, exposed to the Alexander McQueen store, or you weren't exposed to the tailoring that is involved in that level. He's an amazing example because he got a start in tailoring. His tailoring is perfection. And if you want to talk about good fit, he's a great example of that. So it's clear you were honing in on people who were like, I know how to tailor and I know how to make clothes be in perfect harmony with the body, no matter their silhouette, no matter their shape. So fit's really important. How were you feeling about clothes on your body at that time? Was it getting better from when you were 14, or was it?
Yes, definitely. When I look back, I still see what I'm doing today, right? Person is not different. She's not elevated, right? I didn't have a clear direction of where my style was going. I remember Canadian people will know about Le Chateau. Le Chateau was the it store for teenage young adult. And I remember I made this purchase. It was a suede coat and it was very fitted, everything. I guess it was a reproduction of Halston,
Oh,
suede
beautiful.
coat.
He also knew how to cut. Completely different approach than McQueen. Boy, does he know how to cut.
So it was the beginning of 2000. no online shopping don't exist. Like you have to go to a real store.
Yeah.
And
Back then, right? It's
yeah,
like I forget about that. I'm like, oh yeah, I couldn't just like order it on Nordstrom.com,
no, that's it. And you wear what you see. That's it. And again, limited access because it's Northern Ontario. It's still remote area for people who, again, don't know. It's the second largest city in Canada, mostly francophone in the province of Quebec. And it's kind of a little fashion hub, right? So before moving to Montreal to do my PhD that I never finished, and I went to this new store. It was
Hmm.
American Eagle.
Okay.
You know, like, and it was
Yeah,
like,
I
let's
remember
see.
American Eagle. It was a big deal. So I
Yeah,
get it. You were excited, I'm sure. Talk us through
yeah.
this experience.
And I purchased this blazer. It is my first blazer ever. Now I have a collection, just, for
Okay. It started the trend.
and I remember I paid $100 for that blazer. And
Okay.
it was like, yeah, I paid more for my coats, like the suede coat and so on. But I mean, for a coat, you usually spend more, right? I remember like, oh my God, can I spend $100 on a
Yeah.
blazer? And I remember I wear it and I was like, it just fit perfectly. And I remember I went back to my friend and I was like, I gonna wear that blazer like
Every
ever. And I still
yeah.
have that blazer. That blazer is 25 years old.
Worth the $100, man.
Hey.
That's been a workhorse piece. I mean,
It's a little tight. I wear less these days, but it's still in my wardrobe. Like it's my archives.
I
But
love. Okay.
again, like it's not clear where I'm going with my style, but it's definitely like high moment. And I want to recreate that. That garment can change the whole outfit. And then I moved to Montreal and I meet a lot of people. I have two separate groups. One is one of my friend, and she's still my best friend now. And she was doing those trading clothing. We used to call it
Clothing
switch.
swaps.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
used to call it switch and bitch. I mean, that was in 2005, 2006. The whole like recycling, thrifting is not a thing. She's 10 years older than me. Like, so I was 25, she was 35. She was elsewhere in her life, but because of her, I meet this group of people, and all our friends are in the entertainment business. They are in those atelier custom, department. Some are hat maker, and some are starting their design line of clothing.
Hmm.
A couple of them are designers or worked for designers. Those people have like way more knowledge of clothing than I have of the small clothing business, because in Montreal there's a little hub of very local designer, mostly woman owned small boutique. Those clothing brand are by definition like,
They're
oh,
like
I have
small
the,
community brand.
they don't have the stamp, but that's what they
Yes.
are, right?
They're probably all made in the same town
Yeah.
and the small runs. They're
Yeah,
not producing 1,000 of things and sending it all over. It's
that's right.
very,
Two collection a year, 15 to 20 pieces per collection.
yeah.
So with her and her group of friends who are pretty much all in their 30s, she told me, like, you know what? For this year resolution, what I want is that my style project what I want people to see. And she was like, I will declutter my wardrobe, and my wardrobe will be exclusively of like thrifted and local designer. And I was like, what?
You can do that. That's an option.
Yeah, that's it. You can ask more than fit from your clothes. Like, I was
Hmm.
like kind of surprised, but it still didn't click because she had a very particular style, like very metal, goth adjacent,
Hmm.
witchy, all black. And with her friends who look like designers and working in the clothing industry and the garment, costume department and so on, like it's part of your job, right? So
Hmm.
that personal style can be also applied to me. I thought about it, but again, no real direction, because for me, I thought that's their job, like, but
They're in
this,
that industry, so they
yeah,
get to use fashion this way. I'm just like a regular person, so
yeah,
maybe I can't have a conceptual design behind my personal style.
that's it. So that's one group that really helped me understand that business and the whole concept. when I drop out of PhD,
Hey, it's a long program. You got a lot out of it, I'm sure.
I didn't know what to do. It was in history. I started teaching, didn't really work out. So I started working at a call center and I worked there for 12 years. It was fun, even though like call center is difficult. It's a very difficult hat off to anyone work at a call center, but it was fun. And there was a lot of South American people, American, a lot of North African immigrant or second generation, like Italians, Greek, and so on. And it wasn't customer facing, so we didn't really have any dress code. People were pretty much dressing whenever, but those people of my age, they were dressing up. Like, they didn't care. We are French Canadian, but Canadian in general, we're polite. We are really reserved, right? But those people were like, oh my God, Valerie, this is so cute. Like, what are you wearing? They weren't shy. They were very expressive. They were really taking care of, our parents.
Expression.
Like, sometimes it was like, are you going out? And they were like, no. It's sunny outside. Why not dress up?
It's like a community that kind of opened up your eyes that anyone can have access to this. This doesn't have to be just for going out or special occasions or that one event you have coming up. You can have personal style anytime.
Yeah, there's no shame in overdressing. I hear people sometimes like, oh, I shouldn't wear that. It's not special enough. Like, no, wear it. Right.
Wear the clothes.
Fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Enjoy them. They don't get enjoyment by living in your closet. They get enjoyment by being out in the world and being appreciated. That's what designers want. They don't want you to be precious with your things and archive them in perfectly room temperature controlled closets.
That's it.
How did that affect your style at that time? How were you approaching style at that time? Because you're getting some influences that are helping you see style as something more than just clothes on a body that need to function for the day. How's your style right then?
Like, I don't own any sneaker. It's not in my wardrobe. I don't own any sweatshirt or jogging pants. Like, I don't own legging. I really enjoy La Roche's interpretation of like style. They say it's a structure, right? He's an architect.
Yeah.
So what is the base, the foundation of your style? If I look back, even during those times, my base is structure garment. I don't like sweatshirt. I think I look like a marshmallow, like big cloud. So structure clothing, pleated trousers, I'm mostly a straight jeans person, and shoes are usually like lace up. It can be flat. I'm not a high heel person, but square toe.
You like a lot of angles, it sounds like, and you like those straight structured pieces. And now I see why you probably had fit problems, because those are the hardest to find to fit you perfectly. If you're a stretch jersey person, you can find a lot of options that fit you. They're made to conform to any body. But if you want a really nice tailored pant or a really nice tailored blouse or shirt, it's hard to find those off the rack. So I'm sure there was a journey to kind of experience, okay, clothes as function. I'm appreciating fit, but now I'm seeing what clothes can really do. And is this kind of the moment where you're starting to merge fit and expression?
Well, I always like expression in the sense that I was in a school band. I played classical flute and then trumpet, and I always loved makeup. I always loved perfume. And then I got pregnant. And as strange as it might sound, like, yes, you cannot dress yourself like you used to. Not that you cannot, but like you're wearing perfume, you're taking your baby and it's like smelling perfume. So you're just like, I don't want to do that. And again, makeup is the same. Like you're putting
getting
lipstick
on the baby.
It's kind of disgusting.
You simplify a little bit because you're like, I just have to take care of this little baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in Canada, we have the chance to have like a year mat leave paid by the government, right? But as soon as I could fit in regular clothes, I did, because again, like I couldn't wear my makeup. I couldn't wear my perfume. So for me, suddenly getting dressed was important. It was like starting my day. And I hear people like, for 1 year, I stayed in my PJs and leggings. And it's like, no, no. 2 months afterwards, I had my jeans on. And my husband like was coming back from work. And he was like, you went out? And I was like, no. Like, you're going out? No. Personal time. It's like getting back, reclaiming my body. So that also
Mm-hmm.
is a factor in the sense that now dressing up was more important. But again, like
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find what I wanted, right? So my style really like come full and became what I wanted was with, strangely enough, 2020 with
Oh,
the pandemic.
I think 2020 was the precipice for a lot of people's style journeys. It was like the style
Yeah.
systems were coming in. We had time to kind of just like mull things over. Everyone was wearing sweats and we were all getting a little sick of it. We were looking for answers. I think everyone was looking for answers.
But not only that, it was access because nobody could go shopping, right? So,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, so, and in Canada, it's a big country, but with 38 million people. So it
Mm-hmm.
costs a lot. It's not a great, there's no reason why you want to tap in that market in the sense that it's small, it costs a lot. But again, with 2020, well, might as well ship everywhere, right? That's where I discovered those new but vintage inspired clothing and very like German polish and like Lena Hoshek and so on. And that was like, oh, now I can buy what I want.
What I
Like,
want.
also, I start painting. So there's that music factor, but there's also that painting. I paint with acrylic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all about the layer. So I have the base, right? So if we go back to the style architecture, it's like you
Mm-hmm.
have the base, but now you can actually like dress up your house, right? Like now you can add it. And when people are talking about style, and obviously I'm a maximalist, like I'm not a minimalist. And people are like, oh, yeah, but, during summer or during winter, layering can be more difficult. For me, layering, it's not necessarily like putting a blazer on and, a button down or a waistcoat and so on.
Mm-hmm.
It can be like print, colors, textures, and everything. I like to, of course, think about my style persona, my eccentric old lady in her
I love
English
this.
countryside manner and could only keep her stable boy because,
She's
the
running
prime
out of
days are
money.
gone.
Yeah, yeah. I love this. I love
The
this.
glorious days are gone. And she doesn't really like horses, but, it,
Yeah, yeah, but
yeah,
that's
it's
it's
for
she
the
keeps the
image.
stable boy around, you
Yeah,
know.
that's it. Like,
Okay, wait. I want to back up because for people who are
yeah,
not familiar with La Roche's style architect, from what I
yeah,
understand and from my research, he kind of is all about like the world building. It's a very
yeah.
encompassing look. There's no
Mm-hmm.
formulas. It's all
No,
tailored to the person. It's very much about like what event are you going to?
yeah.
What's your psychology? Build up from structure, and then we're gonna add all these nuanced details that make it fit for you.
Yeah.
Did you create this eccentric lady in the English manor based on that, or where did that kind of
No.
come from? Or you were just always connected to that?
I was always connected to that. And
Okay.
the weird thing is because I had my old lady, eccentric, I think it's a little of great expectation.
Okay.
I always love a blazers. Another anecdote, I remember at my old job at the call center, it was like Women's Month, and this communication specialist coordinator, whatever, she was like, okay, we need to put something on our website which women really affect us or that we really look up to. And I laugh at her and I was like, I won't put my mother because most of people were putting their mother, and I love my mother, but like, but whatever, Valerie,
Yeah.
just put something. She want
Everyone to participate.
yeah, everyone to participate and everything, and no one wanted. So, and it was like the woman that I look up to is the Queen, and she was like, "Oh, really? Like Queen Elizabeth too?" And I was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "What? Well, she's living in Castle."
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that,
She,
that
yeah, she have servant. I read that somewhere. Like she drink 1 glass of red wine per day. Like
yeah.
I
Sounds
mean,
like she has a pretty good life.
yeah, that's right. She have jewelry. She have horse, and I always remember like those pictures of the Queen in her moral Scottish. I love imagery like that. And the Queen always have a personal touch, right? If she's going to a country, like she's having this little brooch and that
Yeah.
represent that country, and she will always wear a color. For me, that's interesting in the sense
Mhm.
that there's purpose, there's a story. So again, like all those things build that story. The Queen can be very formal
When she needs to be. Yeah.
when she needs to be, right? You can see her with her rubberist boots at her, not cottage, but country houses, and have like very lived-in clothes and everything. I remember when you talk about volume, like you can have different volume with your styles. It's not because you have a very distinctive style that you cannot bring it to different occasion. Like it's not like it totally disappear if you're going hiking or you're going to the city or special event and so on. But it's just that
through line of like you have it when you're hiking or you have it when you're at a gala, whatever you need to do. There's something about you that connects back to that home base, back to that eccentric lady, or back to your architecture of this is my world and this is how I want to express it. And it doesn't matter if I'm picking up my kids from daycare or if I'm going to a work event, I'm still finding those pieces of me to express myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. Here we have fit, we have a great style system, we have this kind of overarching concept that you're working with. You said you like blazers, and I know there's a lot of advice about, like, here's what we wear with a blazer. This is the outfit formula you need to do. Here's the top 10 ways to wear a blazer. This is the blazer that's in for this season. Did you ever have a phase where you tried that? How was your experience with that type of content? Because I know if you search blazers, you're going to get a lot to
Yeah. I don't own any white t-shirt also.
Okay,
I don't
good.
own,
not your vibe. Good.
Not my vibe. But I did consume and I did research because
everyone does, right?
You also need to know before this deconstruction, right? Like you still need to be aware of and try it and to see that it doesn't apply to you. So for me, I never had like that oversized blazer. It's not happening. I'm 5'3". Like I just feel lost and everything.
You knew it was not your fit match.
No. And I discovered before 2020 Smite blazer, which is very fitted, very close to the body. They usually run smaller than usual. And I remember, I think my first Smite blazer was like purchased in 2017. And I was just like,
this is my moment. I found it. Holy grail.
Yeah. So I have a couple of G Crew blazer because they're also good for petite people. Like I have a short torso and everything. But Smite blazer, like if I can spend all my money on them, if money wasn't an object, I would.
I get it. But tailoring is like once you experience it and you look inside and you see the lining and all the little details, and then if you ever take it apart, you're like, oh my gosh, I understand why this costs so much because there are so many steps to make a blazer. So many.
Yeah. And you could look like crap and put a blazer on and everything sings. It's like that big final the orchestra, right? Like
yes. It's the moment.
It's the moment. Sometimes that's it, right? When I'm going out and about, I have my eccentric lady. And yes, I'm more like 30s, 40s inspired. Like I'm not vintage like 70s or 60s, nothing wrong, but that's not where I fall.
So what attracted you to the 30s and 40s? Or what words would you use? The structure? Yeah.
The structure, I really love knickerbockers. I love the Oxford. I love the small paperboy hat. I like those messengers bag. Like everything's square. Everything is like close to the body because of course, depression and then
actually women's structure had a lot more structure visually, and they say that it's subconsciously tied to the women needed to be able to carry more weight. They go from these very delicate like flouncy dresses and like straight 1920s vibes to having more structure in their clothes and visually to like be able to carry the weight that was going on. More was expected of them. They had to show up.
Yeah, and they needed to go to work and not like secretary or teachers. They needed to go to like the factory making bombs and so on. It's also that the female now wear a lot of male clothing, right? Like we do male clothing for the female. And like I do wear dress skirts. I like, 50s shape.
But I wouldn't say you go delicate. Maybe you don't like the delicate. Yeah, that was not a word that was on your radar. Delicate or flouncy. You like structure and shape and something that holds itself up. right?
Also like bringing both the female and the male, like have a very tailored blazer with a waistcoat and that flowy skirt. For me, it's like having that dandy style. Those are more Victorian, but I find
Yeah.
also like some Victorian inspired thing trickle to the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
Like,
And the dandy was also the
so
male version. So they were having
yes,
the same thing. It
yeah,
was male and female kind of
female.
influencing that. Yeah. If you went Victorian female, that would be a completely different thing. So it's like dandyism has that same kind of structure with some interest, quirkiness to it, if you will.
Yeah, and they weren't shy of showing all the colors, and it was like a peacock moment for boys.
Yeah.
So I'm also, of course, with my history background, like those are elements that speak to me, right? Like I can, without being too on the nose, I like to take element. And sometimes most of the people won't pick on it, like they won't, but I know.
That's the same thing with the designer. When a designer designs a collection, you include all these little details from your inspiration and no one knows they exist, but you're like, I know that thread was chosen for this reason, or I know it's cut like this to reference this. So it doesn't have to be the other person understands that it's dandyism and 30s in silhouettes. So let's go back. It's 2020. Now, a lot of style systems are also popping up at that time. Did you ever try the style systems? What did you think of them?
When I purchased La Roche book, I watched your interview with Kibby. And of course, I stumbled upon Kibby's system interpretation on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I might as well also buy Kibby's new book, right? And there's also the whole core thing, right? I'm not on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ballerina core, dark academia core,
cottage
mob wife core.
It all started with cottage.
I know. There's a lot of cores out there, and it's hard to keep up with the newest one. Sometimes I'm like, I missed that core. I didn't even see it. That's how niche they get.
But I'm not on TikTok, so I'm watching YouTubers like thinking about what's popping up in TikTok. So you have that resume, right? I also think it's interesting, even though I'm not into it at all, because again, it's creating a persona. It might be fake, it might be a one note, but it's still interesting because it's like, oh, I can be that person without any link to it. Like when I never took any ballet class. It's fantasy.
I was about to say, right? It reaches for the fantasy. It tells you, you have permission to do this. People aren't going to judge you if you want to dress like a ballet dancer for today. Ballet core is in. So it's that little permission of like reach for the fantasy.
Yeah, that's it. And living in a big city, and Montreal is very casual. We're not business. If we can compare Montreal to a big city in the United States, will probably be Boston. Like you have New York where it's very like the hustling and the dark colors. I went to both cities for a long weekend. It's like, it's more student, it's more parks, it's more like leisure. You don't feel the hustle and bustle as much as New York. You don't need to be like business at your work. There's a lot of liberty. I work in the entertainment business, so it's pretty much everything goes. So suddenly those core, those ballet core and cottage core, it gives you permission to be, I can be as academic or light academic and dark academia, even though I'm not a university anymore. Like, wow, what a concept, But, and it still has, here we go, let's pretend I'm still at university at Ivy League college. So that inspired me. Like those cottage core, suddenly on Pinterest, you have the links, right? So again, access saying, oh, there's people, there's stores, there's business selling those garments. You no longer need to go flea market, thrifting. Let's face it, sometimes those garments are small, extra small, not the greatest quality or whatever. So having still access to some new thing in your size helps, right?
Did you feel a little bit like a kid in a candy store then? Because it's like you go from...
Oh, yes.
Like there's so much stuff being presented to you. You can be maximalist, you can be dark academia, you can be ballet core. And not only that, you can also buy all these things. Did you have kind of a shopping overflow at one point or exploration phase?
Yes and no, because again, because of my friends who are in local businesses, designer and so on. And I still don't shop from Amazon. I don't shop from Shein. I really am careful of where I'm shopping.
That's also
You know,
appreciation of fit,
yeah,
because you cannot get a well-tailored blazer from any of those places. And I'm
no,
sure you recognize that.
yes,
You have your American Eagle blazer, and that's your benchmark. You're not going to find anything.
no. And it's been years since I've set foot in an American Eagle store.
That's okay. That's where it started. Now we're at the next level blazer.
And the worst is that you can find gems pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
There's gems hiding, but yeah, it's way more easier to just go to a store that will fit you and have what you want without trial and error and. But to go back to your question is that yes, but those do cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
If we talk about Smite Blazer, they can easily go to $800. So, I mean, I have a limited budget.
Don't we all? I mean, you would like to just buy all of their blazers, but, then you have to get creative too. It's like, how can I get this at a discount? How can I make sure that this one is going to do a lot of work in my wardrobe?
That's it. When people say, let's declutter everything and let's create a capsule wardrobe, for me, I just have palpitation. It's like, no, don't do that. Because...
Explain why.
Well, when I tried to teach 1 year, it was a Jewish Orthodox school. So I had to follow some dress code, very strict dress code. So it was only skirt, no pants. It was like tops that goes longer than your elbow. You didn't need to go to the wrist, but it has to fall like in the middle. Again, I went Le Chateau to go purchase some skirt, and I had my Jackie Kennedy skirt, and it was like those little trumpet pink skirt, and I had like a gray skirt, a black skirt, and plaid skirt, and I only have 4 or 5 skirts, and the rest was pretty much already in my wardrobe, and I loved it. Like, I might not love the job, but I love getting dressed for that job. And people were like, oh my God, don't you think it's a drag to dress totally different to go to work? And I was like, no, it's fun. So I had this capsule wardrobe for working only. Those were the requirement for only that job. And even today, those 5 skirts, I still own 3 of them. The Jacqueline Kennedy, unfortunately, was kind of tight and became tighter. So I had to declutter it. I was like, I don't think I'm going to go back to that size. So it was add-on for a specific purpose. But suddenly, those really create new outfit, like new vision. Oh, I can wear it elsewhere. So it's always my philosophy, like, let's add one piece. It's a new piece and you think you're stretching your style, like start with one. And it might fail. It might not be the piece to add to your wardrobe. But if it's a good fit, oh my God, it just opened so much. It really like helped create a lot of different style. And again,
teaches you something. It shows you what's possible. It kind of shows you, what about this structure? Maybe you realize, hey, I really like structure in my shoulders, but I need a little bit more loose around my waist. It's all about collecting those nuanced details. It's not just structure, it's structure plus.
Yeah, and elevated a simple outfit that before it was a 5 or a 6, and now just by adding one other item, it's now a 9, right? And afterwards, if that specific brand is good for you in the sense that does it fit you well proportionally and everything, like if you're short torso, and 2, if I add another color or another different style, will it do the same thing? And if it don't, well, then it's okay. You can stop there or try something else, because sometimes you need to evaluate it. It brought my style this far. If I add another one, does it plateau?
Does it level up my style?
Yeah, that's it. Like if it's costly or you're limited in your space, sometimes adding like 2, 3, 4, it's not worth it, because they will like do the same thing for your style.
Find that one A+ piece, instead of buying the 4 or 5. I think that's the misconception with capsule wardrobes too, because as they're presented online, capsule wardrobes are kind of presented as you overhaul your closet each season, but that's not really the goal of it. The goal is to find those like 10 items that really make your style sing all year round, and then add in that one piece that you need for winter. Add in that, rain appropriate gear for spring. But it really should be a very intentional, small look at what you need. And what people mistake it for is I need a blazer, I need a white t-shirt, I need a pair of loafers. Like, that's fine if that works for you. Then that may be a place people start. But most people shouldn't do a prescriptive capsule wardrobe. They should look at their eccentric lady in an English manor with the only a stable boy and say, what would she wear every day? And how can I find 10 pieces or 12 pieces that sing to that concept?
Not only that, I do understand people who think it's the easy way out, right? Like, take the checklist, take the shopping list, and here you go. And when I read a law book versus QBs, I was like, oh my God, no, I know who's going to sell more books. And even though it really resonated with me, what Law was
teaching,
writing in his book, like, it wasn't as like, here your silhouette, pick one. Like, QB's way more visual. Here's how a romantic will dress herself, and here's a gamine will do it. As for Law, it's like, just look
build
at your
your
closet.
world.
Yeah, take your star, staple piece and just dress, have fun. And that's so
creative and expressive. And
yeah, but for people, it's not concrete enough. Like, for people who just starting, like, yeah, but how do I know, right?
I think you had an advantage because you knew from the get-go that structure was super important to you and fit, and you needed those straight lines. You already had that base. So you weren't saying, oh, well, maybe I'll try an organza gown and maybe I'll try a wool skirt. And you were like, no, this is what I need. So I can see why that base, you were able to build so much around it.
Yeah, and not only that, like those clothing trade sessions.
Yeah, swaps.
Like, swaps. And I've been doing those like 4 times a year for the last 15 years, 20 years.
So, yeah, that's amazing. You get to play.
Not only that, because the way we work, there's not a lot of rules, right? You bring what you need to bring, take what you want. We're friends, we're drinking, we're eating, we're sharing. We take 4 hours of our Sunday. And if there's only one person who is interested in the piece, you get it right away. But if we're several of us who is interested in a certain piece, we just put it in the middle, and at the end, we're all trying the shirt or the dress or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're all different shape, different size, and suddenly you will have that piece of clothing from H&M. I remember that top was like the traveling pants jeans,
Yeah, sisterhood of the traveling pants. It was going everywhere. Everyone was trying it.
Yeah, people were just trying that shirt, and everybody was like, oh,
it looks
my
good
God.
on you too.
Like, it's good and fit differently. Those are some pieces where it's just well made, well constructed, and you can see it live on different people.
They're like mini fashion educations in a way, because you're seeing all how that fits on everyone. You're taking note, oh, that works on you, that doesn't work on me. So you're really getting to know yourself and the pieces.
Yeah. And again, there's dress, like it fits you well, but then you see it on another person and you're like, oh yeah, okay, like you can keep it. Like, this is made for you. So those are live free retro action on your style, on how things fit on you. You don't need a personal coach at this point. We're all like doing the work together for
style
3
community.
hours.
Yeah.
I think people don't have that in real life. It's not live. It's like, oh, look, I'm taking a picture on, and sharing on the website. Like, girl, so you think it's fitting well. And then you have like 20%.
And they don't know you too. It's hard when it's online. They don't know your personality. They don't know how you move, how you joke, how your body interacts with the world. There's all these little nuanced details that when you know someone and you're seeing your best friend or your good friend wear this piece, you're like, I see you in that. I see you, not just the piece. There's this connection.
So it's all personal experience that I brought to my personal style. And I have a lot of chance, and I'm outgoing and everything. Like, of course, I can see shy people having a more problem with that. But I think the personal style is, yes, your construction of you, of your identity, but it's also the response of others to your personal style. They don't need to like it. Don't look for validation in elsewhere. But at the same time, when you're deciding on a style and you're like, Oh, for me, this is, I don't know, a confident woman in her 30s, and you walk out and people are like, oh, they don't see it. So
Mm.
that's where the discrepancies is, right? And that's where people are like, maybe I didn't get it, or, maybe I
Hmm.
have to work more. But then again, it's hard because you don't know that person background either. You might not have the same reference. So I think that's where it's harder for people maybe, or because there's too much or not enough retroaction on their style that they're like scared or they're not confident enough of their voice or the
Hmm.
way to project what they
You're
want to
testing the
project.
waters for a
Yeah.
while, and that's hard for people to do. It's hard to put yourself out there. It's hard to try on kind of different ideas. Like you landed on English woman in the countryside with her stable boy. Let's talk a little bit more about that because that's where you're at today, right? Was there
Yeah.
anything about that you tried beforehand that didn't work? How did you land on that? And is there anything currently unresolved about your style?
I always love academia.
The structure, the
Yeah.
tailoring.
Like
Seeds were all
less,
there for
yeah.
you.
I remember it was my last year doing my master degree, and I
Mhm.
met Dr. Benting. And who is Dr. Benting? The family name might say something to people. His dad create insulin, right?
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
So he's Canadian. Can watch the movie. There's a movie about how he create insulin
It's
for
incredible. Yeah. And gave it
dia-
away.
yeah, and he was a history teacher. So his son,
Wow.
he was 6'3", 6'4", with his cane. He was a big man, and with his sweater vest and his shirt and the blazer, and he looked the part like Oxford teach. And everybody was like looking at him in awe because he was important to our history department at my university, and he was retiring. It was in his honor, that event. And I was like, oh my God, he looked the role. Like he has all the details, and the cane. I
Yeah.
remember the cane. It was just like, this is it. This is chef kiss. You don't need more. And so it was academia, but again, in the sense that I don't want to look like a schoolgirl. Like I'm not a sexy person. So there's always reference of the schoolgirl that I was just like, not it. That brought me more to my old lady because I'm an old lady at heart. And I'm not going elsewhere, but as a woman, we hit puberty and we hit menopause. So I can see my style changing. I'm 45. I don't want to be stuck, and I'm fully aware that my body will change and I will need to accept it. I think it's
Mhm.
hard sometimes for people, but
Yeah.
and that will probably influence like the next phase. But again, I love Iris Arfel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not because you're a certain age that you need to be less than you are, right? Like to
No.
dress differently like an old lady or whatever.
No.
So that's where I see going. My personal style, that's where I see it
That's the
will
next evolution
yeah,
phase.
that's it. And that's normal. Some people might disagree, but I don't think you should have a personal style at 20. Like you should have the
No.
base. You should have the core.
There's always exploratory phases, right? And 20 is a big one. Like 20 is throw things at the wall and see what sticks, throw things at what feels right. Who are you? You're becoming who you're going to be, and like
That's it. And there's also the herd. Think
Mhm.
like your friend. You want to be part of a group, and that group is no longer the family. It's now
Yeah.
friends. And so for me, fashion will always be something that is in movement. Your life, by definition, is changing. So your clothing need to adapt to your surrounding and everything. Obviously, the core, like the aesthetic, I don't think that's it. I love color. Color will still be there. Like I don't see myself turning in Black Widow soon, right?
No.
No. So I'm pretty happy where I am. I don't feel that I need to change anything, but I'm always like something happen, it will happen. And I'm flexible, I'm pragmatic, and I will probably discover something else. Who knows, right? Like I pick up violin 40, I pick up
Painting. Yeah, you're a
painting at
creative
40.
person.
So maybe something else will happen and that will inspire me. So who knows?
I love that. Okay, one last question. I think we're all curious about what is the English countryside woman with her stable boy? Give us like 10 adjectives or pieces in your wardrobe. Just paint us the picture of that so we can really see her because I think she's so fascinating. And for people who can't
Well,
see your lovely outfit, like describe her a little bit.
with Alison Bernstein, like 3 words, I
Yeah.
resume it with like tailored, quirky, and old world slash
Okay.
vintage. For me, my old lady, it's the trousers, it's the blazers, but once in a while she wanna go out and about because she still wanna preserve a certain image. Like
Hmm.
we're close from Grey Garden, but I mean,
Yeah, there's some structure. There's a little
there's
bit
no
of twist.
raccoon.
Yes, yeah. Fair.
There's no raccoon in the den, right?
That's good, yeah.
Of course, that lady has traveled the world in her youth, and she has an Italian flair, I have to say. Like,
Okay.
yeah, so sometimes she will wipe out, an Italian silk blouse with print. For me, it's with flair and nostalgia also. Like she's remembering prime days
Hmm.
and she's not stuck in her manner in the sense that she's going out and about. She will go to tea. She will go pet her horse once in a while, ask the
Hmm.
stable boy if he's okay. Yeah, it's nostalgia, it's daydream. Sometimes she's eccentric, so
Eccentric, yeah.
sometimes she want a little spice in her life. And also, the picture that I love the most is that I think it's a countess.
Hmm.
She's in her ball gown and she's feeding the chicken.
You like those
Have
kind of
never
duality,
seen,
yeah.
yeah, it's a real countess.
Okay, we'll get this photo so people can reference
Yeah.
it.
And she's feeding the chicken. And I think it should be fun, right? You don't need to be scared to wear your clothes. It's on the whim and like how I feel today. Do I feel like gonna be all colored up
Countess.
or yeah, or I'm gonna be in brown and with my boots, my countess, my lady. She still wanna look good, still want to present a good image. And there's no limit, really. Like
Hmm.
why? She's alone. My
She does it because it's hers.
yeah, that's it.
And
So
I love that you described that image, and I'll make sure it's in the show notes. But the Countess with the chicken, because in a weird way, that ties all the way back to your youthful inspiration of I have these fantasy elements, but I have this function, right? And clothes are only for function. And this weird photo of her in a gown or whatever she's wearing, feeding chickens. It's kind of the merging of the both, like her everyday tasks with
yeah,
this lovely style that she's. So I think that's a kind of like a weird little full circle moment. And it sounds like you have this like layered approach that there's meaning behind all these pieces. And even if you're the only person who knows that meaning, it's important and it speaks to you and it helps you find your style architecture. I have loved hearing all about your eccentric lady and her cottage with her stable boy. And I think everyone will resonate in a different approach to fashion and how you kind of, didn't lean into those frameworks and you found your own way to world build your own style. So
hmm.
thank you so much for coming on. It's been a joy to speak to you.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll keep watching you and your beauty.
Okay. Until next time.